It is remarkable that the real character of Judas had never been discovered by the fellow disciples, who for 3 years had mixed with him in closest companionship. Either he was a consummate hypocrite, or the other apostles were too simple minded, good, and charitable to think evil of anyone. Thus his thievery passed unnoticed, and the greed and avarice which wrecked his spiritual life were entirely unsuspected, except by the Lord. Okay, now let's come to this dipping his bread in the same. This is telling us about where Judas was seated. As Judas is represented as dipping in the same dish with Christ. Now, it shows that he was either near or opposite to him. If this man's heart had not been hardened and his conscience seared beyond all precedent by the deceitfulness of his sin, would he have showed his face in this sacred assembly, or have thus put the seal to his own perdition? By eating of this sacrificial lamb, is it possible that he could feel no compunction? Alas, having delivered himself up into the hands of the devil, he was capable of delivering up his master into the hands of the chief priest. And thus, when men are completely hardened by the deceitfulness of sin, they can outwardly perform the most solemn acts of devotion. You may see this all the time in church, without feeling any sort of inward concern about the matter. The Son of Man goeth as it is written of him. But woe unto that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It had been good for that man if he had not been born. Then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Master, is it I? He said unto him, Thou hast said. Now this is very frightening, what Jesus tells him. Better if you had never been born. Jesus says this knowing what the fate of Judas would be in the other world. There is no hope here held out of alleviation or end of suffering or of ultimate restoration. It is a rayless darkness of despair. And I agree with Pulpit here. There is no purgatory where you just kind of burn for 1,000 years and then you're let out and let into heaven. No, there's no hope. And Christ is saying this. He says there's no hope. Had there been any expectation of relief or of recovery of God's favor, existence would be a blessing even to the worst of sinners, for they would have eternity still before them in which to enjoy their pardon and purification. And in such case, it could not be said of them that it were better for them never to have been born.